Hey Gemini, it's Viv. Welcome to your week ahead reading for the 30th of July through to the 5th of August 2018. I'm using the Spellcaster's Tarot and it's an 8-card spread, so one card in the middle which is the overall energy for the reading and then one card for each day of the week. One of the days though I've got 2 cards and there was also a card that fell out while I was shuffling the deck, so I've got that there. And there's the card that I'm reading that's at the bottom of the deck as well. So we have more than 8. Okay, so let's start with the overall energy for the week, which is the 10 of Cups. And this is a card of harmony, of friendship, of love and relationships, and everything being hunky-dory. Really, things headed in the right direction, and you know, they couldn't be any better. It's a really kind of positive, hopeful card, a card where there's you know, gratitude and thanks for all of and appreciation for all of the things that are going well in life, for you know, life's little miracles. So it's a card of togetherness and harmony and deep fulfillment as well. Now, as we start the week, we have the King of Swords here, and looking at the other cards that there are in the spread, I'm wondering, I don't think this is you, Gemini. I think this is somebody in your environment. It could be a boss, it could be somebody who wields an awful lot of power. You know, they are a decision maker, and the decision maker could their decisions could affect an awful lot of people's lives. And my feeling is that this may be somebody that you don't agree with. So there's potential for disagreement here, there's potential for argument here, but with the influence of the 10 of Cups, it feels to me like the power of the king, or the effect of the energy of the king is softened, and there is agreement where there was disagreement before, and it feels like a coming to an understanding. I think this is very fulfilling for you. I think if this feels more like your energy, I think this is something that that you're very proud of. If you're working with somebody that you have fundamental differences with, perhaps your upbringings have been entirely different, perhaps your beliefs are entirely different, that what you think is right, what they think is right, and how to go about achieving that is entirely different. But you, I feel, are finding ways to communicate effectively with this person, and for that communication to be reasonable, for that communication to be done in a way that they can hear you and not feel like they are being questioned or challenged, that it's sort of like open discussion, and they are being reasonable, and this is as a result of your influence. So the Queen of Cups is telling me that there is a feeling of you know, you're happy about that, and you're feeling really pretty good about that. I think you're keeping some of the things that you think you're keeping back, and you're being tactful, and there's diplomacy here. And I think if this is a boss, if this is somebody who's in power, I think they recognise the effort that you put in. I think this card, the Six of Wands, is coming underneath the King of Swords here, and it feels like there's recognition here for a job well done, for all the effort that you've put in, for all the hard work that you've put in, and this as well is helping the harmonious atmosphere. I think though the Strength card is here, and this is telling me that you're having to dig deep, that there's an awful lot of effort that you're putting into this, and perhaps because there are fundamental disagreements between you and another person, or disagreements between you and the way these decisions are being made and implemented, it is requiring you to draw on all of your resources and show up to be useful, regardless of your personal feelings, and that's challenging for you. It's it's a positive thing, and I'm drawn next by the card that's at the bottom of the deck, which is the Magician card. So you are taking all of these experiences and turning them to your advantage. You are making the situation good. You're making things happen. You might even be influencing the way this guy thinks. I'm saying guy. It's a general read, so don't get hung up on the gender. It could be a female as well as a male, but this person in authority, there's a positive influence that you are having, a harmonious effect on this person. As we move through the week, we have or as we get to the end of the week rather, we've got these two cards, and they came out like this. So there's the Hanged Man, and then we have the Seven of Swords here. And this to me feels like it feels like with the presence of the Ten of Cups as well, it feels like an agree to disagree. It feels like you can influence this person's thinking up to a certain point, but after that, they're not going to change. They're not going to move. Their position is their position, and they are tied to that. This card is like physical restraint, but it feels like that they're not going to move from their position. They're not going to be persuaded very far from the beliefs and the values that they hold dear. They're not going to be persuaded to take action that is fundamentally different to their beliefs. So with the presence of the Seven of Swords here, I think you're learning from the situation, and you're taking what you can from the situation. And I think with the influence of the Ten of Cups, that there's a respect here. There's a respect for this person's position, even though you don't really agree with them. The next card is the Six of Cups, and I'm drawn to seeing the three cards at the top of the reading together, so that we have the Strength, the Six of Cups, and the King of Swords. And it feels like there's an alignment here, or a harmonization at least. There's after this realization that this person fundamentally is going to hang on to their position, and you take what you can from it. I think then there's almost like a release, and it's not like you're on the same page, but there is like a mutual respect for each other. There's a mutual respect for the work that you put in, there's a mutual respect for the intention behind the work. And this feels like there's a return to, if there had been arguments before, if the situation had been quite tricky before, if it had been quite conflictive before, this feels like a return to a bit more playfulness, a bit more appreciation for one another. It feels a much gentler energy. It feels like there's an alignment. It's not like it's almost like it's like you realise that you can work together, that you can be together, even though there are fundamental differences. That there is an appreciation for the other person, and you realise that you can, they respect you, you respect them, and with that mutual respect, then it can work together. The final card in the read is the Ten of Swords, and this can indicate, in this particular deck, a disaster. But I don't think that that's what this means here. It feels like there's been like an overcoming of something that could have been potentially disastrous, and because this is coming right at the bottom of the read, and we've got the influence of the energies of all of the other cards here, and the central energy being the Ten of Cups. It feels like, what could have been an almost damaging situation. Maybe it could have been on the verge of a split, of one of you going in one direction and the other of you going in the other, and it's like, no, we agree, and it was sort of, we disagree, I beg your pardon, and it's like, there's no sort of, it's irreconcilable. But with the influence of the Ten of Cups, it feels like this has been averted, and you see, by the time you get to the end of the week, that could have been really awful. That could have worked out so differently, but it's worked out so much better than I was expecting, because of this mutual respect that now exists between us. I think the card that fell out is the Emperor, and this is about power. This is about fertility. It's a very potent card, and together with the King of Swords, I'm wondering if the person that you're dealing with is somebody who is actually in power, is somebody who's in government, or at least somebody who wields an awful lot of power over your life or people in your life. Maybe it's a politician, a counsellor, or maybe it's the head of a very large organisation. It could be a charitable organisation. And you have you have had fundamental differences with this person about how things should be run. It feels like disasters averted, and there's mutual respect here, and this is as a result of your influence, Gemini. So there we go. Those are the messages for this week. I hope you found them useful and that they resonated. I'm recording the monthly videos at the moment, so I hope to get those out soon for August. I'll be back next time with a weekly video. Thanks very much for tuning in, and until next time, take care.